was in school for a very long time, studied sports, was an athlete. My whole life growing up, I was a gymnast, transitioned to rowing in college, and then coached for a long time. Over the years, I got out of coaching. I was in the academic world, and I loved teaching. Don't get me wrong, I loved my students, but it just felt like, for me, there was a better outlet out there. There was a better way to connect with people, to connect to people that shared my passion about nutrition, about sport, and really work more hands-on with athletes and work more hands-on with the general population to really help improve overall health and wellness. So I was really fortunate to find Herbalife. So Dr. John, I know you guys all know and love Dr. John. He's the one that hired me. So I've had the privilege of working with him very closely one-on-one for the last year and a half. And I've learned a tremendous amount from him about the products, about nutrition, and about the family that is the Herbalife company. So I'm very grateful for the opportunity, and we'll just talk a little bit about how we kind of transitioned to really using our athletes and getting more information to you guys about what we do with our athletes and how they really are products of the brand around the world. So you see on this slide a couple pictures. I don't know what happened to formatting, but go on. That's some of the teams, some of the places that I've been over the last year and a half. And everywhere I go, I get asked kind of the same two questions. One, is it hard working with elite athletes? Do they give you a lot of problems? Is there a lot of ego and they want to listen? And the answer is no. Honestly, and I think it's for a couple of reasons. One, Herbalife does a really good job of selecting athletes to sponsor that really represent the brand and that really want to incorporate nutrition into their sport, right? So as much as we all know nutrition is vital to performance, it's really still that last tier of sport performance that isn't talked about a lot. So we do a really good job of finding athletes that are excited and are interested about nutrition. And I had the privilege of meeting 3 of the UK-sponsored athletes here last night, and they fit the bill 100%. They're young, they're excited, they're really ready to take their careers to the next level, and they're going to be a lot of fun to watch as they head towards Rio and try and achieve their goals in sport performance and really utilizing the brand. That honor working with these athletes all around the world. So some pictures from Brazil. We were in Colombia. That's the one where they were jumping. They made jump next to bronze medal triple jumper, which was really not fair. And then they took pictures. So I chose the one where I was in the air and she was still standing on the ground. So it looks like I can kind of jump. We also had the honor and privilege of having the Special Olympics World Games in Los Angeles this year. So you'll see the picture in the middle, the blue and white. This is the El Salvador Special Olympics team. It was such an honor. Such incredible athletes came, taught them how to make shakes. They had their rebuild strength with some water, loved it. And it's really been a privilege, right? And so do we have a problem working with the athletes? Not at all, right? But the other reason why is because as a company, we're not just a typical sponsor. And I hear this from the athletes all the time. You guys are so different, right? And what makes us different is that we show up, right? So they get packages all the time from different sponsors, whether it's apparel or whatever it may be, but they really never have a face to a lot of these companies. And so that's something that we're really striving to try and do, is really build this partnership, right? So it's not so much a sponsorship, it's really an authentic relationship where we show up and say, hey, we're here for you, how can we help you? How can we help you improve on whatever it is that you need help with your sport? Okay, so it's kind of my role is I sit down, every one of these athletes that you see on the screen, plus several more, we sit with one-on-one, and we say, hey, we're here for you, okay? What does your nutrition look like now? What are areas of your game or your sport that you want to improve on? And then we talk about how we can help that through nutrition. Okay, so how can we incorporate the products that they have in their market to help them improve their performance? And then it's a no-brainer. They want to work with us. They want to be willing. They want to listen. They want to learn because it's about them and about trying to make themselves better athletes. And so that leads into the second question that I always get is, do our athletes use the product? And the answer is absolutely yes. They can stand here and tell you, absolutely yes. Okay, so we spend time, we spend energy sponsoring these athletes, and they love it, right? So we're working right now with 25 American football players. They all just finished their NCAA career, their college career, top-level college athletes. They are all training for the NFL Combine right now. I get emails almost daily. We're running out of product, can you send more, right? We have them in 2 locations. Each location goes through about 2 to 3 canisters of rebuild strength a day. Prepare, they love it. Hopefully a product that you guys will have here in the market, they love it, right? Such a great pre-workout. It's got caffeine, nitric oxide enhancers to help with blood flow. It's their 2 favorites. But the thing is that to get them to buy into it, we need to make sure that we understand their goals, and we need to understand what it is that they need, and that every athlete is different. Okay, so for example, with the American football players, most of them actually want to gain weight. Okay, I mean, there's a picture at the end, you can kind of see the size difference between me and them. It's kind of comical. I look a little like a child, but it's okay. But we have to understand that is their need. Okay, so I was going into the facility the other day, and one of the guys stopped me, and they were like, he's already a big guy, 130 kilos probably, and he wants to gain weight. And he was so excited. He was just, he was like, I gained 10 pounds, I gained 10 pounds, which you might think right off the bat, well, that's not what we want to hear, right? But that's what he needed. Okay, so that's what he needed to perform better in his sport. But for him, the education, which we'll talk about in a second, was that, yes, you want to gain the significant amount of weight, but you can't just eat whatever you want, right? As Dr. LaRoe was talking about, you can't just stuff pizza and cookies and hamburgers in your mouth and say, this is going to work, right? Sure, you'll gain all that weight. You're not going to get faster. You're not going to get more explosive. Your performance isn't going to improve. So how can we educate you to help you? And we do that through our products, through our nutrition. And these guys love it, right? You give them a shaker cup. As long as you put their name on it, they're super excited. I don't know what it is about this name, the Sharpie on a shaker cup. It's like a whole new world. It makes the shake taste a million times better. So they love it. But so it's really, getting to know the athletes, right? And so why do we do this? Why do we care? Why should you guys care about all the work that we're doing with the athletes? And it's simple. They're an ambassador for the company, right? We want, if they're wearing an Herbalife branded shirt walking down the street, and they get stopped by someone and say, hey, do you like the products? Do you use them? We want them to not just say like, oh yeah, they're cool, We want them to say, yeah, I use Regal Strength every day. I love it after my workout. On super hard days or when we're doing a lot of endurance, I mix it with berries, I do this, I do that. We want them to be able to talk about the product. So it's super important, since they're very high profile, that they are confident and they truly do enjoy the products and use them. So it's kind of a little bit about what I do with the athletes, and we'll talk about how we sort of incorporate that knowledge into the education going forward. The white building that you see, in case any of you are wondering, doesn't look like there's athletes on there. That's the Costa Rica Olympic Committee. So I was there a couple days ago, and we sponsor the entire Costa Rica Olympic Committee with a lot of their athletes. So some very exciting stuff that is going on with that Olympic Committee. I can't really talk about, but just keep an eye on in the coming weeks. So a lot of really exciting work, things going on with that. All right. So we kind of already touched on a lot of this, building authentic relationships with our athletes. And I think there really is no better story than the story that we have with Ronaldo. Okay? You guys have all tried CR7 Drive? Yeah. You guys like it? Yeah? Okay. It's one of my favorites, so I use it when I ride my bike all the time. This is a very good example of building this real relationship, and building a relationship that we want to have with our athletes, okay? While we're not a company that just ships product to athletes and say, good luck, I hope you figure it out, here's a bunch of different things, and we don't know much about nutrition, but go. We don't do that. We also don't just take a famous person, put their face on a canister, and say we worked with them. Okay, that's not how we operate as a company. That's not what we find is a good, strong relationship. Okay, so most of you have probably heard the backstory with CR7 Drive. I'm not going to go over it a little bit and then expand on sort of more of the testing that we did with the product. Okay, so started years ago. Dr. John sat down with Ronaldo and said, "What do you need?" Okay, same question we ask all of our sponsored athletes. What do you need? How can we help you? Okay. So he said, well, he already had his Formula One, he had his good base nutrition, he had rebuild strength, he had his good recovery, post-workout, post-match, whatever it may be. But he said, I need something for during the game. I'm running out of energy towards the end of the game. So that was kind of the jumping off point for creating CR7 Drive. And then from there, it wasn't just like, okay, cool, thanks, see you later. It was, okay, let's figure out exactly what you need. Let's look at your blood. Let's look at your performance. Let's look at what you do and figure out how we incorporate that into a product. Okay, so looked at some blood markers, right? And again, this is actually not unique to him. We do this with a lot of our athletes as well and say, okay, you're deficient in magnesium, you're low in B12. Things that are honestly very common with athletes. So that's why those things went into the product, okay? Why is it an acai flavor? Because he chose it, okay? So there's really his fingerprints all over this product. So you can have confidence that when someone says to you, oh, does Ronaldo really know about the product? Yeah, absolutely. He had a huge hand in the entire process. But then it doesn't stop there, right? We can create a product based on the goals and the needs of arguably one of the best footballers in the world, but we want it to be applicable to the everyday athlete. We want all of our athletes to feel like they can use the product. And when I say all of our athletes, I'm not just talking about our sponsored athletes, right? If you go to the gym, if you run, if you cycle, whatever you do to get your heart rate up, you're an athlete, okay? So we want to make sure it's something that works for everybody. So we took this product and we made sure we tested it with tons of people to make sure that they liked it, okay? And not just like, hey, give this a shot, like, hopefully you like it. We can see the other picture that's not Ronaldo on here. This is the LA Galaxy. So we took several versions of the product to them and said, give us your feedback. How did it taste? How did you feel it helped your performance? And we did this around the world. We sent it to teams in Sussex. We sent it to teams all around the world to really get feedback and understand how can we make this product exactly what you guys need. So here's a little bit of what goes into making our products. And that's one of the things that we want to do going forward is make sure that we have all the input, all the feedback possible so that when new products come out, they're what you want. Okay, and we'll talk at the very end about how we kind of connect with you guys and make sure that we understand what the needs are. But a lot of it comes down to create a product, test it, now you gotta talk about it, right? So there is a ton of science that goes into all of our products, okay? Lots of information, lots of very, very knowledgeable, excellent scientists that go into creating these products, but we can't expect that you guys have that same scientific knowledge, nor do you need it to be able to sell these products. So one of our focuses, one of my focuses going forward for this next